Hello, and thanks for joining me. It is May 5th, 2024. 160 years ago today, May 5th, 1864, the Federal Army of the James had left the Fortress Monroe and Hampton Roads on the James River and steamed upriver to land here at City Point and behind us at Bermuda 100 to start the Bermuda 100 campaign. This is a very strategic point. Behind me is the Appomattox River, and then I will pan Bermuda 100 behind me now, and then the James River. Here at City Point, now known as Hopewell, the James River and the Appomattox River come together and then continue as the James River down to the east to Hampton Roads and then to the Chesapeake Bay. In 1864, this was a strategic point. Grant had put forth 5 major objectives in his strategic plan to President Lincoln, which was accepted. And this was one of those objectives. The Army of the James would leave Fortress Monroe with 30,000 troops, sail up the James, land here at City Point, and behind us at Bermuda 100, and then march west towards Chester, which is a strategic rail hub between Richmond to the north, Petersburg to the south, break the communications, defeat any Confederates there, and also break the rail hub between Richmond, Petersburg, and then of course all points south. It was important to the Federals to defeat the Confederate Army here, to force General Lee to send troops from his Army of Northern Virginia down here to counter this, and quite possibly take Petersburg, which is about 10 miles down the river, or Richmond, which is about 15 miles up the river, and break the back of the Confederacy. Now, when President Davis heard of the landings here, and let's make one quick point that the first landings, both upriver and then here at City Point and Bermuda 100 behind me, were United States colored troops. In the first action, not quite the exchange of fire, but more of a surprise. United States colored troops were disembarked and were able to drive off a very surprised Confederate Signal Corps unit. When word reached President Davis that this had happened, he wired Lee, said, "We need troops, very few troops here." At the time, only about 6,000 troops were committed to the defense of this area for the Confederates. Lee, always the strategist and certainly a commander who understood his subordinates, said, "General Beauregard, that is his concern." And he knew that General Beauregard and also General Pickett under General Beauregard would be able to pull together what was necessary. Lee knew what faced him, his Army of Northern Virginia against Meade's Army of the Potomac in the north. And coincidentally, today is also the 160th anniversary of the start of the Battle of the Wilderness. Lee understood he could not be able to lose troops and also be able to defeat Meade's forces under the Army of the Potomac. He understood his subordinate, General Beauregard, and under Beauregard, General Pickett, would be able to keep this safe, keep the Federals at bay. So 30,000 troops began to disembark of the Army of the James, and thus started 160 years ago today, maybe not as rainy as it is right now, but 160 years ago today, the start of the Bermuda 100 campaign.